This is an open letter for Mrs. Marianne Williamson. Hello, ma'am. How are you? Hope everything is good. Uh, I read an article some years ago about sex in a hyena society and how it's a painful, violent, very arduous, apparently, task uh, of making babies in a hyena society. And the article went into details of, how because hyenas have high testosterone level, both male and female. Apparently, both sexes have a very similar looking tools, reproductive tool, just a small difference in sizes. So apparently, in that society, reproductive process starts with trying to push a straw into another straw. So, as you know, uh, I had a friend who tr- committed suicide multiple times until he was successful. So, but one of the first time he did try to commit suicide, he was unsuccessful, and he was, you know, he had a lot to say about inserting cataract. I believe they call them cataract. It's sort of like trying to insert a tube inside a male organ. It's a very apparently what the hyenas do in their mating season. Try to push a straw into a straw. So the point is this. I'm sorry, this sounded the start of the letter is a bit vulgar. I'm very sorry. It's salute. Thank you for lasting this long. But there's a point I'm trying to reach here. That by this vulgar example, would would you say you should try to go save the female hyenas from the male hyenas? Would you say that that's a good idea? We should go try to save the female hyenas from the male hyenas because of this painful, violent experience that is apparently normal in a hyena society. No, you wouldn't say that because it's nature, it is what it is. For some reason, it's ended up looking like this. Apparently, violence is very important, so having high testosterone level in a hyena society is very important for their survival because violence is very important for their survival. So, blah blah blah. So, this is how they evolved, that both sexes are more or less have similar tools. But my point is this: beside the why of it, why they have evolved like that, it, it's even crazier to think that you can go actually fix that and try to protect the female hyenas from male hyenas. It's a laughable. Hey, hey. It's a joke. It's a laughable concept. So why at the same time you and many well-meaning other people think that trying to save the Afghan women from Afghan men is somehow a good idea? You don't think saving the female hyenas from male hyenas is a good idea, but you think it's a good idea to go save female Afghans from male Afghans? Force the male Afghans into hunger by sanction embargo war, sanction embargo war, sanction embargo war. Force them into poverty until they can do away with their 18th century traditions. You're sanctioning, embargoing, and fighting them to force them to give up their 18th century. Meanwhile, of sanctioning, embargo, and war, which brings more poverty, at the same time that economically you're pushing them into 18th century, 17th century in that level of poverty. At the same time, you want them to culturally behave as if they're in 21st century. Culture and economy have a close relationship. Culture and economy have very close relationship. One evolves and gets better, moves not better or worse. It just changes. Culture changes as the economy changes. So, and as the context become more contact, not through soldier to soldier, not rough contact, soft contact, citizen to citizen. That means tourism. So instead of trying to force them to act like you want them to act, your only solution is to become friends with them and go out partying together, i.e. send in tourists and students and teachers and scientists, send them in so they can, help them economically. Then eventually culture will change as the economy changes, normally. But it's a crazy idea to think that if their economic world is of 18th century, which it is, have just look at some of the videos online with regards to how daily life is in Afghanistan. There are many videos. Nobody's speaking. It's a video with no voiceover, with no nothing. Many of them are available of daily life in Afghanistan. Do you recognize any of it? Would you be seen, would you ever want to touch it? Be anywhere near it? If you don't want to be near their streets because they're too dirty from your perspective, why do you think the life of their women should be the same life of women such as yourself? It's mind-boggling to me that you folks just don't see it. It's a blind spot that people who go on up their ivory tower, they it's too much light up there. They don't see us folks on the ground. That they don't apparently stop seeing the people actually on the ground. In terms of, you think you're helping them by driving the Taliban or Afghanistan into more poverty, or providing, even better, providing arms and funding for another group of Taliban, which they don't call themselves Taliban, they call them some other shit. And by providing funding to that other shitty group to fight this shitty group, because that other shitty group is incrementally better than this shitty group. The sane society. This is what picking the sides in Korea means. This is what picking sides in Congo means. This is what picking sides in Ukraine means. You're choosing one side which is not better than the others, incrementally, maybe, or maybe. This side abuses their women and children a little less than this side. So what are you funding? So if this side comes to power, they give incrementally more rights to women? Are you serious? They are where they are in 18th century, economically, industrially, because multiple times Anglo-Saxon white people from Northern Hemisphere decided to try their hand at bringing red, white, and blue to Afghanistan. Well, I'm talking about the British. They also have red, white, and blue to Afghanistan. What did success would have meant? That Afghan women are wearing miniskirts and going to college now, passing through the shit show that you can see on the road from those videos that come from daily life in Afghanistan. Or they really should have the right to go to school or university or be seen outside. Here's the thing with these backward people who are living in these areas of planet that have some older cultures. Europe was also something like this. I've read a few articles about how European men used to lock up their their women's vaginas by putting a big padlock on their hip. That they would take the key from the padlock to the crusades. So imagine Afghan men are at that level because they're economically, culturally, because they have had so many wars funded by the pinkskins on their land that they're shut out of luck. They can't grow in any way. If somebody comes to your house and ransacks through your house every 5 years or every year, comparatively with regards to a country like Afghanistan, which multiple times the Anglo-Saxons ransacked through, how can you build a life? How can your economy and culture grow if every time you get every 50 year you get raped by the pinkskins from the northern hemisphere? Because the pinkskins are coming in with good intentions. I believe you have good intentions, but just like you would think it's a crazy idea to go save the female hyenas from the male hyenas, and whatever they have to do to cheapen society together. Just like them, Afghans, look at Afghans, that's 15th century, 16th century, 17th century European men. Afghans at this point in their history, they cannot trust other men with their women. These laws, these regulations with regards to keeping their women at home, it's just that. Afghans coming up with laws to show they cannot trust each other with their women. That's a cultural thing. That's a cultural thing. That's like hyenas' culture, and based on their physiology, the way they have to get together. That has nothing to do with me, and I can't go in any way correct the hyenas and protect the female from the male. We have to. You see all the divorces in the United States, in North America, in Western Europe. All these divorces is basically because states is stepping in to save Mama June from Billy Bob. Billy Bob treats Mama June the way Mama June has to be treated in order to keep some kind of sanity in the household. Now, if Mama June needs to be treated roughly in order to keep sanity in the household, then, well, I guess that's what's going to happen. But when legally they keep telling Billy Bob that no, he can't rough up his woman, well, he might be, the woman gets out of line because it's not you, it's Mama June. It's Bibi in Kabul. It's like the female hyena equivalent to the male hyena. It has nothing to do with you and your values and your physiology and your culture and your history. It has nothing to do with that because none of it is connected to you. They treat each other the way how they have to treat each other because of the social constraints that they have, i.e. they don't want to trust each other with their women, therefore keep the women at home. That's some deep cultural shit. This is not something you can fix by going on your ivory tower and talking down to them. Go talk down to the hyenas and say, why do you have to get, get involved in this violent act? Well, I understand it sounds like I believe the word is callous, but you know, maybe I'm using that word wrong. But the point is this: it sounds that you don't care, but the fact is, yeah, you shouldn't care because you don't understand the context. You don't live in their society. You don't understand the context, what they have to go through. What is their, because on top of all the things that we share with hyenas, on top of that, there's a psychological thing that we have on top of all the issues that other animals have. You know, as far as I know, none of these animals have religion, but humans have had to construct religions for themselves in order to make some kind of sense, bring some kind of order or sanity to their societies by following certain laws, religious laws or whatever. But you know, again, the state and people who consider themselves as wiser should not be in the business of trying to tell hyenas how they should live their life, how they should treat their women, how they should treat their females. It is what it is. When they move up, when they move on from that point in their cultural norms, they will move on from that point in their cultural norms. Their own wives and children, here's the thing, those rulers, they also have wives, children, mothers. When something becomes intolerable, the children, those girls of the rulers, maybe 10 years down the road, maybe 50 years down the road, however long it takes, the children of those rulers no longer want to follow those strict conditions. Then the children are going to force their fathers to change the rules just because they don't want to follow those rules. They think those rules are outdated. But you have to leave it on their own. You can't say, no, 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 we are not going to trade with you. We're not even going to talk with you anymore until you change. You know what not trading and not talking brings? What it causes is for them to stay in 18th century. If you want to help, instead of criticizing them and trying to go on your high horse, say, okay, no problem. We're going to send you more tourists. We're going to send you more trade. Our business people are going to visit you more with their wives. And when it gets very uncomfortable, you will change. You see our tourists bring money over there, and then you will realize that you prefer to have good relation with our tourists, so they relax your rules for our tourists, and over time you have to relax your rules for your women as well. Again, more contact. If you want to see change, don't go on your high horse and try to don't go on your military horse, and don't go on your political horse either, high horse. No, none of it. The more you want to make somebody like yourself, the more you have to have contact with them. You become friends with anybody you really want to change. If you really want to change anybody, society, human, person, dog, cat, if you really want to change them, it's called dog training. And that involves you spending a lot of time with the damn dog in order to change it to the way you want to change it. You can't say, no, I'm not going to feed the dog until the dog learns. I'm not going to sanction and embargo the dog, as if if you sanction and embargo the dog, its nature is going to change or it's going to learn new things. No, you spend more time with the dog learns whatever you try to teach him, hopefully. You spend more time with the Taliban, you go over there more, you send more tourists and business towards them, and the contact, just like the contact between a human and a dog changes the dog, the contact will change Taliban. But that's the same thing to do. I haven't come across many sane people. But that's not profitable for Raytheon and Boeing, and it's not even profitable for these NGOs. This is going to be, if more contact means it's going to be profitable for average people in Afghanistan. And who wants that? We want to go a way that is more profitable for Raytheon and Ajax and Samsung and Walmart and Amazon. We want to go that way, even if it means we first have to destroy it, then we may, give them some loans so they can rebuild it, and what changed? We destroyed it, then gave them some loans to rebuild it. That's the case of, has been the case of Afghanistan. Over and over, and you would think people would learn. You can't save Afghan women from Afghan men. It's not even, it's not a sane idea to try to save Afghan women from Afghan men, just as it is an insane idea trying to, protect the female hyena from violence of the male hyena. Yeah, I'm sorry, this came out a little vulgar, but it is what it is. It is the only way I can describe it. Just don't touch. Look, learn, teach, but don't touch. Don't criticize. Don't touch, don't criticize. If you want to see a change, increase contact. Increase contact. Don't tell them to, don't tell the dog to go sit in a corner until he can learn how to shake paw.